Let's finish up here by talking about the Sunday night football game. It's going to be a fun one. It is the Bills at the Ravens right now at FanDuel Sportsbook. Ravens still favored into this game. Ravens minus 2.5. Their money line is minus 130. Total is 46.5. And Dubs, when I run my numbers, I've got the Bills favored in this game. So I took their money line earlier on this week. But I also understand what you were saying earlier on. We're like, okay, want to buy low on Lamar Jackson. He's a tremendous quarterback. They should figure things out eventually. So I'm a bit conflicted here. How are you feeling about this game? Bills at Ravens.
I think it's going to be a great matchup, and it's fitting that we're getting it here on Sunday Night Football. I'll put the hand up, Jim, and say that I've never been captain of the Josh Allen fan club, but I've turned a corner. I've turned a page. He has looked fantastic. And if you think the Bills are going to be championship contenders, I mean, he was the play, to lead the MVP market. He now sits at a very short price at plus 250. For the Baltimore Ravens, always expected, especially with the tough start to the schedule, that it may take a couple of games to get things going in the right direction. I think that was the confidence builder that they got from Dallas in Dallas last week. Lamar Jackson is still Lamar Jackson. King Henry, I mean, he's turning back the clock. He looks fantastic. And a couple of the other bits and pieces, they're now moving it downfield in the right direction to just spread the field a little for Lamar. So I think the Ravens are live in this spot. It looks to be a fantastic matchup for the Buffalo Bills. Well done to Josh Allen. All the talk through the preseason was that, he's now missing Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs really wasn't getting that production at the back end of last year. They're putting up a lot of points, and some of the offensive weapons, notably there with Shakir, they're looking fantastic, Jim. So it looks to be a really strong matchup. I think being at home is going to be the deciding factor for me in this one. So I think the Ravens minus 2.5, giving up a full field goal, that could be close, but at 2.5, willing to back Lamar in a big spot with two of the very best squaring off on Sunday night.
Yeah, that's my fear as someone who did, again, bet the Bills earlier on this week, is that they kind of lean on that same approach they had against Dallas, because it was very effective, where they decided to lean on Henry, lean on Jackson, and that was just, it worked so well there. Now, the Cowboys have a lot of issues with stopping the run. The Bills could have that. Looks like Terrell Bernard might be back for this game for them to help their linebacking core, and I think that would be beneficial. But like, this Ravens offensive line had a lot of changeover this year, and if they've gelled as a run blocking unit, at least, that could be pretty scary. So I did bet the Bills, and I'm okay with that. But I do worry a bit that if they go back to that same approach, because if this offensive line has suddenly gotten that cohesion you need along an offensive line, then we could see the Ravens really pick up steam and kind of duplicate that same formula here in this spot.
Yeah, and I really do think, primetime matchup, Sunday Night Football, it's going to be a battle of the quarterbacks. You may say, well, there's a scoop. Thanks for getting us up to speed on that one, Dubsy. But I do think jump in and look for the player props, look towards the star quarterbacks. I imagine if it's the Ravens getting it done, Lamar Jackson's probably going to go overs on his rushing yards, and he'll just find a way to will this team across the finish line. I'd probably look towards the unders there on King Henry. And on the flip side, Josh Allen, everything. I know the numbers have got the odds makers overreacting and setting those marks a little higher by the weekly here, but I still expect it to be a monster performance from both quarterbacks. But for me, just going to give Lamar Jackson, being the home side, I know they're laying 2.5 the edge in this one. It should be a great matchup, Jim. Yeah. Really close. One of the toughest lines to try and come up with for week 4.
And that's always a good sign for a game. If it's tough to set a line for it, that probably means it'll be a fun one. So Dubs is on the Ravens here, and the rushing marks he's alluding to for Derrick Henry, 68.5 rushing yards, Lamar Jackson, 58.5, and Josh Allen, 32.5 on his as well.